Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Lovely to see you all. Today, I want to talk about a very important topic, very important indeed. I'm going to share my screen. Um, it's called the psychology of selling. Now, people have got different views about sales as an industry, sales as a career. I need to tell you my views. I personally think sales is the most important part of any organization. Any organization. If you think about it, think of even an airline. An airline employs tens of thousands of people or thousands. If they don't sell seats, even the people who clean the toilets will be out of work. It's so simple. Why do companies go bankrupt? Usually the sales are down. So the sales organization or the sales team are the most important in any organization. They uplift the company, they support that organization. And you and I in life, even if we're not, our job isn't a salesperson, it doesn't matter. We should learn these techniques, these methods to help us to become better at what we do, to help us to become better communicators. Because sales is all about effective communication. Now, before I move on, can I just check, are you able to see my screen? You can, thumbs up. Okay, so sales, very, very important. And I now want to go into more of the psychology behind it. So, first of all, there's a concept in business called the winning edge. And the winning edge,
Gerard, are you sharing your screen now? It's just
I
come off.
am.
Yeah, it was on and then it's just come off. So
Okay,
yeah,
let me do that. Let me reshare. Okay, is that on?
Yeah,
yeah,
no, it's
that's on.
perfect. Thank you.
Let me do something now and see if it goes off again. Um, yeah, okay. Okay, there's a concept called the winning edge. And I love this because what it means is a small difference in your ability, and I mean a really small difference, can lead to huge successes. We talk about, I've given the analogy here of a horse winning by a nose. You know, you get a horse race, and the one that wins might win by just inches. So it's only a couple of inches faster than its next competitor. But the benefits are enormous. It will win literally 10 times the prize money. Now, that means you and I only have to become a tiny little bit better. We don't have to become world class. We don't have to become Olympic athletes in our sales. We just have to be a tiny little bit better, and the results will be enormous. So we call that the winning edge. The second very important thing in sales is to do with how you view yourself, your self-concept. And in fact, this is more powerful. They've
What
done
happened?
so much.
Sorry, there is no screen again.
The screen has gone again, has it?
Yeah.
My goodness. It doesn't like us today, does it? Screen doesn't like us today. Is that back again?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So your self-concept, I'm trying to think of a word that is better than more important or vital or crucial. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is. Your self-concept is how you think about yourself. And you will consistently earn within 10% of the income that you subconsciously feel you are worth. Now, I'll be honest, this had a big negative impact on me in my early years. Huge impact. Because I grew up in Southern Ireland, tiny little town in Southern Ireland. My family were very, very poor. And in Southern Ireland, it's a very religious community. It's very Catholic. And we were very, religious. Everyone would go to church on a regular basis. And we were brought up to believe that money is the root of all evil. Has anyone ever heard that expression before? Or is it only me? Yeah. Yes. We were told money is the root of all evil. And we were told rich people are bad. They must be bad. They have to be. How can they be so rich and not be bad? They must have done bad things to get their money. And we were told, but you know what? The good news is God loves the poor. And you don't have to worry because you'll get your reward in the next life. So actually, we were told it's good to be poor. Now, I don't know if that resonates with anyone. Did anyone else here ever get the same type of message? No, only me then. Only us in Southern Ireland. But we were told it's good to be poor. Money is the root of all evil. Rich people are bad, and so on. And that conditions you. It affects your subconscious. And it's really difficult to go and break that coding, that programming. But again, you have to. And I want to emphasize, you will always earn within 10%, more or less, of what you subconsciously believe you are worth. So you need to do some internal work, and you need to ask yourself, what do you honestly believe you are worth financially? And you'll start to get a feeling for that, and you need to work on it. Next, goal setting is one of the roadmaps to the top 20% of all achievers in the world. All super achievers set and plan goals. And I've used the word intensely. They are intensely goal-oriented. It becomes an obsession with them. It's not something they just think about, make a couple of lists, put away, and get on with their day. No, it lives with them all the time. They are obsessed about it. And there are 4 areas where we need to look at. Number 1, you should have an annual income goal. Now, what is that? It would be crazy if you set your income goal to be 100 times what you are earning now, because your subconscious wouldn't believe you. So we suggest that you make it between 25 and 50% higher than what you're earning at the moment, or what you have earned recently in the past. And you start to then believe, once you achieve that, it starts to reprogram your subconscious, and then you can set it for another 50 or 80% higher, and you move up. So an annual income goal is very important. Linked to that is an activity goal. It's not going to happen by accident. You should calculate the daily, the weekly, and the monthly activities. Now, when I do sales, and when I used to do sales totally, 8 hours a day, normal working day, sometimes 10, sometimes 12 hours, sometimes more, I would make sure I contacted 100 people a day at least. That was my goal. Contact 100 a day. And that was in the days before email, LinkedIn, social media, Instagram, Facebook. Back then it was telephoning. Telephoning, 100 people a day. Now it's so much easier. If you're doing less than 100 people a day and it's your full-time job, you've got to look in the mirror and say, what are you playing at? really, what are you playing at? Yeah. You say you want to be successful and you're making 10 contacts a day. Please stop lying to yourself. You want to be a superhero, you want to make a fortune, and you're contacting 10, 20 people a day. Please go and get another job. You're kidding yourself. You really are. If you're serious about success, if you're serious about sales, if you're serious about making a fortune, you've got to be looking at 100 a day. 100 a day, 100 a day, 100 a day, 100 a day, day after day after day after day after day. If you don't like that, go and be an accountant. Do something else, you know? So, activity, you should break it down. Calls, how many calls? Every time you make a call, and when I say call, I'm talking about email, LinkedIn, telephone, you name it, email, reaching out to people. You'll start to get people responding, not everyone, only a little percentage. Then you have to respond to the responses. So you build all of that into your activity. Schedule your activities and stick to it. Have times every day. Every day. And then, and although I've put it number 4 here, it's probably one of the most important. Visualize. You should spend a little bit of time every day. It doesn't have to be much. 5 minutes, maximum 10. That's all. 5-10 minutes. Quietly sitting, closing your eyes, and visualizing the you want to be. Visualizing the success. Visualizing your achievements. All athletes do it. You know that? Every athlete, before they step onto the racetrack, before they step into the boxing ring, before they step onto the athletics field, you watch some of them. They go through a process. Maybe they walk up and down. They close their eyes. They're visualizing them crashing through that barrier. So it's something that, it's not a suggestion. Visualization is something you really should be doing. And it's so easy. It's 10 minutes. 10 minutes in a day, sitting quietly with your eyes closed. No noise, no television, no radio. Now, let's move on to why do people buy? And we're now getting into the meat of it. They did some surveys ages ago, and men are guilty of this. Men like to think they make logical decisions. Have you ever noticed that? Do you know any men? You met any men? You know, men like to think they make logical decisions. You know, when it comes to buying a motor car, they'll list all the power and the horsepower and the this and the that, and they'll work out the finances. It's all rubbish, right? They've done, over the last 20 years, they've done survey after survey. And about 30, 40 years ago, they came up with the conclusion that all decisions people make, men and women, were 20% emotional, 80% logical. And then they did it. And then they found, no, it's 40% emotional and 60% logical. And then in the 1970s, they worked out, no, it's actually 60% emotional and 40% logical. And in the 90s, Harvard did, you've heard of Harvard University, they did some studies and they worked out, actually, it's 90% emotional and 10% logical. And in the last few years, they've realized there's no logic at all. There's no logic at all. All decisions are emotional decisions. And we just use logic to back them up. Now, knowing that is very powerful for us. Very powerful. So, all purchases are emotional purchases. Every purchase. Now let's look at the forces that influence someone. And there's 2. The desire for gain. We'll call that an emotional power of 1. So the desire for gain. People want things whatever they want: money, house, good looks, nice clothes, nice car, whatever. They want things for the benefits, the status, the money saved, the security, and so on. So these are very powerful forces. The desire for gain. Then we look at the other force, the fear of loss. And that has a motivational power of 2.5. It's 2.5 times more powerful than the desire for gain. Are you all familiar with that now? So you've got in NLP, you'd call it the towards motivation and the away from motivation. One is powerful, the other is more powerful. So the two together are like turbocharging. What does that mean for us as salespeople? We need to frame our presentations. Be aware of the words you're using. Now, some of you're using your presentations you're actually talking to people. You're having a real audible conversation, maybe on the telephone, maybe on Zoom, maybe on something. Others, it's written communication, by email, by LinkedIn. Look at the words you are using. It's still communication. Frame your presentation. Talk about how worse off they will be if they don't buy. What will they be losing? What will they miss out on if they don't take this action? Very important. Now, there's an old rule in communication. And when I say he, I mean he and she, everyone. He who asks questions is in control. So in any communication between two people, the person who is asking the questions is in control. So be aware of that when you create your communications. There should be different types of questions. Not instead of telling, you don't tell someone, you ask them. How will you feel if you miss out on this? How will you feel if you don't do this? Tap into their feelings. How will you feel if you lose out on this opportunity? How will you feel if you lose this discount? Okay. So, and then you can offer some sort of a guarantee. Most products, most services will have some sort of guarantee where someone can have a look at it, they can have a try it, they can experience it a little bit before they make their final step. So talk to whoever you need to talk to about what type of guarantee can you offer. Now, there are 7 key result areas. And it's good that we can look at this in a scientific, logical way, because we can now start to work on each of these areas. But when it comes to selling, no matter what it is you're selling, there are 7 areas. Prospecting. This is getting your list of people together at the beginning. Where do they come from? And today it's never been easier. Oh my goodness, with online, social media, Google searches, it has never been easier to find people. Then you have to contact them and build rapport. Build rapport. There's an old saying, you never get a second chance to make a good first impression. You never get a second chance to make a good first impression. So how you originally or initially reach out to someone, very important. How many of you get LinkedIn messages every day from complete strangers saying, hey, how are you doing? How's your business going? Any of you get those? My God, I get them every day. And I just think, can you not be more original? Is that it? Is that your opening gambit? and then they misspell it as well. They get the English wrong or the language wrong. So you've got to be more personable and a little bit different. So building rapport. Then you get into communication. Now you can start identifying the needs. How do we do that? By asking questions. He who asks questions is in control. Keep that in your mind. He who asks questions is in control. Ask questions. Then you start to present your product, your service, your program. Highlight the benefits over the features. What are the benefits to you of doing this? Training to be a coach, being a master distributor, being a Alpha Group regional director. What are the incredible benefits of or having you as their personal coach? How will their life? I often take people into the future and say, imagine we're 12 months from now and you've been doing this for 12 months and you've been doing it successfully. What would your life look like then? Can you imagine that? And I ask those questions. What would your life look like then? Can you imagine it? Tell me, how would you feel? When people give objections, and everyone will give an objection, right? It shouldn't come as a shock. Most people do it like a knee-jerk reaction. And the big ones are, oh, I haven't got the time, I haven't got the money, I haven't got the interest. Time, money, interest, or energy. I haven't got the energy. These are common. They're not unusual. Everyone says that. I haven't got the time, I haven't got the money, I haven't got the energy. I view them, as I've written here, as a question of interest. So I say, great, I understand. Tell me more about that. Tell me more about that. Closing the sale is an interesting one because I have found people will get to a point where the customer is ready to buy, but they won't ask for the business. There's a reluctance, they're scared, they're a bit frightened of actually asking for the business. What's the worst that'll happen? Someone will say, no, thank you. Well, not now. And if someone ever says to me, no, I always say, I understand. Just out of interest, is that a no for now or a no forever? I always say that. I say, oh, I understand. Look, just out of interest, is that a no for now or a no forever? And quite often people will say, oh, just for now. I say, okay. Can I come back to you in a few months and we'll have a coffee on Zoom together? Great. So these 7 areas are the key points in any sale, from not knowing someone at all to going through the process and having them as a friend and a customer. We need to become quite good at all 7. But remember I said on the first slide, the winning edge. If you only make a tiny difference or improvement in one of these, just one, you'll see remarkable things happen. So work out yourself at the moment. Now, you may not be good in all of these. I mean, no one is good in all of them. We all have weak spots. Some of us have many weak spots. Okay, I could probably improve at every single one of these. But look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, where is your bottleneck? Which of these do you personally have the most challenge with? And just work on that. Spend a bit of time working on that. Okay. Coming to one of those, identifying the needs. This is so important. Our job is to help our customers, help our clients. It's to help them fix a problem, satisfy a need, help them to feel better, help them to achieve, help them to move forward in life, and hopefully our product will do that for them. So we need to find out about them. In coaching, we have a phrase, we say, you should become intensely curious. about your client, intensely curious, not just a little bit, really curious. So your job is actually to be a sales doctor, not a salesperson, right? And you will make or lose the sale in the diagnostic stage, which is finding out about their needs. The 80-20 rule, here it comes up again. It's everywhere in life. In sales, it's to do with communication. The customer should be talking 80% of the time, not you. You should be listening intently. And you should talk 20. But when you talk, what should you be saying? You should be asking another question. So when you talk, you should be asking another question. And then let the client answer that. Okay. Whenever the client does answer one of your questions, pause. People have great difficulty doing this. My God, some people just want to talk and talk and talk. They almost drain you of energy when you're with them. Just pause. Not long. 3, 4, 5 seconds. And then ask a question of clarity. So ask a question of clarity. You say, okay, so how does that make you feel? Or how does that affect the way things are in your life right now? Or what needs to change? Or where exactly would you like to be? Or what needs to happen now for you not to feel that way? Or what are the first steps you need to take in order to resolve that? So after you pause, you ask another question. And it's a question for clarity. When the client answers, we use the word feedback, but here I'm saying paraphrase. So it's so important that you paraphrase for 2 reasons. So that you are identifying to the client, you have absolutely listened to what they say, and you've heard what they say. Very important, this. And you are confirming in your own mind that you've heard what they say accurately. So whenever a client answers a question, I say, thank you. So what I'm hearing you saying is this. Or, okay, what I understand is that you have just said, and I will paraphrase back to them. It's very powerful, but it's very important. It helps to confirm in the client's mind, you are there for them. You are listening. You are paying attention. Handling objections. Objections are fun. It's a signal of interest. It's not necessarily a rejection at all. People just do it as a knee-jerk reaction, right? And usually they need more information. It's an indication they haven't got all of the information or they haven't understood the information. So we need to give them more. So 5-step solution here. Pause, smile, very important to smile. Even if you're on the telephone and they can't see you, you should smile. It changes your feelings. Stay calm. Never, oh dear God, never interrupt. This is something bad salespeople do all the time. They just interrupt. No. Acknowledge, which is paraphrase and feedback. Acknowledge. Ask a question for clarity. So if someone says, I just don't have the time, say, I understand. I completely understand. I know how busy you are. But leaving that aside, is there any other reason why you might not want to go ahead? So you understand, you paraphrase, you acknowledge, and then ask for clarity. So other than that, or leaving that aside, is there any other reason why you would not want to do this or to go ahead or to move forward? And then they will probably give you the real answer. And you can answer that. If they say it's too expensive, say, I understand that. Are you aware of our current summer bonanza? Are you aware of the scholarship program we currently have? Are you aware that we allow people to pay over a period of time? And they might say, no, I didn't know that. So, oh, yes, we do that. Or you have an offer, yeah, we have a quite a big discount offer right this month. So, question and answering the objection. And then always clarify or confirm at the end before you go for the sale. So, does that make sense to you? Or does that clear things up for you? Or does that clarify things for you? Before you then go to the closing question. Would you like to make an application to join? Would you like to see if you would be accepted? You know? And here we come to us as the salesperson, our fear. Fear of failure is a big fear, and the next one is fear of rejection. How do we get over it? By building courage, by being courageous. So, first of all, we need to understand rejection is not personal. They're not saying no to you. They're saying no to the offer, the sales, the tool, the service, the product, not to you as an individual. Courage is like a muscle. The more you practice being courageous, maybe just be a little bit courageous, just a tiny, tiny little bit, it'll build and you'll become willing to do it more, willing to do it more. And your courage muscle will build. And the next one is, I would say, the biggie. Most salespeople give up after the second or third contact with a client. Statistics show from the National Institute of Sales, most sales are closed between the 5th and the 12th contact. Most salespeople never, ever get to the 5th or 6th contact. They just give up. We've had people in our company make a purchase 2 years after they first contacted us. Because the timing wasn't right back then. Money wasn't right back then. The children were young. They needed more attention back then. Timing is a big thing in people's lives. So the answer here is never give up. Never, ever give up. Keep contacting people, keep in touch, keep reminding them, keep letting them know how you're doing, what's happening with your product or service. And final sort of a checklist. Commit to being good at this. Make a commitment to making this your profession. And a professional, I was once told the difference between an amateur and a professional in anything. An amateur is someone who practices something until they get it right. That makes sense. They practice something until they get it right. A professional is someone who practices something so much that they can never get it wrong. Big difference. They practice so much, there is no danger of them getting it wrong. Amateur, professional. So look at your inner game, look at your self-concept. What is it you truly think and feel about yourself when it comes to money and income? Have clear goals about your sales and the actions and activities. When you're dealing with customers, be aware of the fact that the fear of loss is stronger than the desire for gain. Listen 80% of the time, and the other 20% of the time, ask questions. And commit today. You know, I have a task for you, and I'd like you all to do something. I'd like you all to email me. Now, don't give me the number. Just email me that you've done it. but I'd like you to write down on a piece of paper your annual income goal and the daily activity required to achieve it. Now, don't give me your goal. That's too personal. Don't give me your activity, but just contact me to say, Gerard, I've done it. So I know you've done it. But write down your annual income goal and the activity you need. And I said earlier, take 5 or 10 minutes. We'll start slowly. I'd like you all to give 2 minutes. Now, can everyone give 2 minutes a day? 2 minutes to visualize? 2 minutes to just sit quietly with your eyes closed, no distractions, and visualize a picture of you being incredibly successful. Pictures of you having successful engagements with your clients. And finally, one of my early mentors, a guy I just love to bits, Brian Tracy, he said, the great differentiator in sales is not the product, but the person. It's the person who will make the big difference.